Hello and welcome back everyone. This is Critical Rocket taking a look at another different game today. This is Nosgoth. Can you survive? Yeah, I don't know much about Nosgoth and its background. The only thing I know is that Nosgoth is related to the Legacy of Kain series of games way back when. God, was it PS1, PS2 era? As far as I know, this doesn't have any of the characters from that series. It just seems to be set in that universe, and it's a 4-on-4 team deathmatch game. It's still in closed beta, but it's very close to being an open beta. So, if you want to pick this up and play it a bit later, then and not have to pay any money, then go ahead. I got this for about 58 pence when it was on sale on Steam recently, and it's really good fun. Basic setup is, as I said earlier, it's a 4-on-4 team deathmatch game with one team being made up of vampires, which is what I am in this video, and the other team are made up of humans, who are basically, I guess you could say, vampire hunters. They play in a kind of asymmetric style, with the hunters being more ranged, more traditional first-person classes, and the vampires using a mix of sort of melee combat and sort of debilitating area of effect attacks, and it works surprisingly well. I was kind of surprised at how cheap the game was, and I wasn't expecting 4v4 to be all that sort of hectic and fun. I'm more used to a multiplayer experience that has a lot more sort of going on in it. Things like let's see, Battlefield 64 player kind of action, that kind of thing. So 4v4 didn't sound like much, but when you get into it, actually, it seems right. Although I wouldn't say no to a mode that had 8v8, for instance, because the gameplay is actually really fun. As you can see here, that there are 4 classes within each faction. So in the vampires, you have the Reaver, the Tyrant, Sentinel, and the Deceiver, I think it's called. What I'm playing is the Reaver, which is basically the hunter from Left 4 Dead. It plays almost exactly the same. You hold down the right mouse button, and you go low to the ground, and you growl, and then you aim your mouse pointer when it's charged, and then you just sort of release and you leap on. You sort of tear into your target for a few seconds and do some damage, and then you pounce off. You can see it there now. It can be used to traverse the map, just like Left 4 Dead in the multiplayer mode. So it's kind of a wholesale rip-off of that kind of class. The Tyrant class is like a big bruiser type. He like just stomps around the map, wrecking shit. And the Sentinel is like a flying type who can sort of dive bomb people, pick them up and drop them from the sky. It's pretty actually kind of frightening when it happens. And the Deceiver is a bit like the sort of stealth class who can mimic one of the other human hunters, and he can get in amongst them, and he can do like a sneaky backstab, something like that. So he's kind of like the spy of the group. Whereas, as I said, the hunters are a bit more of a first-person traditional, like, so the hunter is the basic class who has like a repeating crossbow launcher, and then you've got a grenade launcher type with the alchemist, and then you have a sniper who's the scout, who uses a bow and arrow, and then you've got a kind of, I think it's a buffer class. I've not really unlocked it. This footage is literally like the second day I was playing the game after downloading it. I bought it during the Halloween sale, but I hadn't really given it much of a try because I was still finishing Shadows of Mordor, and that was a big game on the hard drive. And yeah, this is quite fun. So the vampire characters will regenerate a certain amount of their health over time, but they won't regenerate it all. And the only way that they can heal is by basically grabbing. You probably saw it earlier. You grab the downed human players. You might see a player do it now. Just for a second there. They'll grab them and they'll sort of tear their throat open and drink some of the blood, and that's how you get your health back. The humans have to run to shrines, which count as there's one nearby. I think, yeah, there's one I just ran past in that room. They're marked on your mini-map in the bottom right normally, and these shrines allow you have to hold down the button and you regenerate all your health and you get all your ammunition back. I think that's maybe done to counter the fact that the vampires, I think, have a harder time compared to the hunters for healing, because the vampires have to kill somebody to heal, whereas the hunters can literally just walk over to a spot and just get all their health back that way. Oh! Yeah, you can get turned to chunks. By the alchemist there, who launches little grenades. It's not bad, actually. I mean, for a cheap game, I think it's £2.99, £2.99. So I don't know what, like $5, something like that. If you live in the States, it's surprisingly fun for what it is. As I said, I don't really know anything in the background. It's not really required reading. You don't really have to go and like read for a Wikipedia page to find out what the fuck's going on. It's just like a multiplayer game wrapped around the Legacy of Kain franchise-ish. It's not. I don't think, as I said, I don't think it's going to have anything to do with the characters. Maybe it has some minor link to the games with the locations, but again, I'm not the type to really be qualified to talk about that. Graphically, I think this game looks quite pretty. It's obviously it's not CryEngine, it's not anything like that, but the engine they're using is pretty smooth. I encountered no lag at all. Movement is really nice, animations are good, sound effects are nice. And the classes feel well rounded and fleshed out. I quite like that. They're adding more as well. I believe there are 2 more classes to come, one for each faction as well, so it'll be interesting to see what they add to the table. One of them, the hunter one, looks like he's got a shield, so maybe he'll be like a melee class, and maybe they'll do like a range class for the vampires. I don't know. I would warn though that the game does have a store, although I don't think it's necessary to spend any real cash, at least for unlocking things like weapons and other class abilities. But the game does have a number of cosmetic items, like different costumes and stuff, so you may want to look a bit more unique. And outside of buying a higher level veterans pack, I got like the absolute lowest, the cheapest of the cheap one, just to get access. But there are slightly more expensive packs, they're not asking a lot, and that'll give you some extra costumes and stuff, so your class of hunter can look a bit more unique on the field. I don't know if any of these are available outside of paying real money. Maybe they are. Maybe like getting your class up to a certain level will eventually unlock like an extra skin to show you progression. I don't know. Some people have leveled it as a complaint, but to be honest, I don't think any of it is pay to win. I wouldn't worry about that. So I said, the actual core gameplay seems pretty solid. Every class can level up as you play them. You get XP for virtually any action that's like damaging, healing, obviously kills and kill assists and those kind of things, using your powers properly. And as you level up, you can unlock different powers within that class. So the Reaver, for instance, here has like this ability where he can kind of dodge attacks that allows him to escape from enemy fire for a few seconds. And he has another one where you've been seeing me throw this little sort of vial that creates like a black smoke. That's your starting abilities, and they seem fairly weak source because you can't really do any damage. But later on, you get I think you can get like a poison glass vial that will like damage them in an area, and I think it'll slow them down. And I think there might be a higher level version of that again. Not sure about his other active ability. I've not really seen. I think it might be a brief teleport, or maybe like a jumping slash, something like that. But every class has kind of variants, and they have different attacks as well. As I know that the hunter, because I got him up a few ranks, and he got a different type of bow which fires as like a 3-round burst, and so you can sort of alter and tailor it that way, a bit like Team Fortress by unlocking another gun alters the kind of slightly alters the gameplay of the class. It's sort of similar to this in that respect. I think since it's still in closed beta, I think some powers, if you do decide to buy this and play it, I would be aware that the matchmaker is still in a sort of work in progress mode, so you can end up in a match where you just get dominated. The other team are just really fucking good, and they will kick your ass very quickly. Because the way it plays is it's 2 rounds of 10 minutes. One round you're the vampires, the next round you're the hunters, and you have to try and get either 30 points to win, or just get the highest number of points per, 1 point per kill, and the difference is added up at the end of both rounds. So it can be a draw if if the vampire team on both rounds win by 30, and then it goes by the difference in your score as the hunters to determine the winner. I think it's entirely possible to get the exact same score and get a draw. I've not had that happen yet, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. And yeah, that's how it determines it. So matches can actually last quite a while, so you can, I don't think there's much of a grind on the old XP side of things. So you can see the round just ended for me. I got the lowest score on my team. Woo! 4 kills, 4 deaths. And there you go, there's your XP. So you've got your account level is the main bar, and then you've got your class level, and each class has different XP. So if you want to get everything, you're going to be grinding through. There are perks, there are daily ones you get, but I believe I think you can buy boosters as well, so it's a bit like premium time to get bonus XP. A few other bits and pieces like that. I mean, on the design, I love the detail in the hunter's gear. His mask and the repeating crossbow looks really sweet. So now you'll see it from the hunter's perspective, where everything will play very differently from how the first round played. I get the impression that the hunters are a bit more defensive, because that seems to be how their equipment seems to work. They're more about hitting the vampires from range, or allowing them to get close and then doing damage that way, whereas the vampires have to get close, so it's like trying to wear them down or pin the vampires down to sort of get kills that way. But the vampire team, they can't just attack you piecemeal, they have to be coordinated. You have to get all 4 of them attacking the hunters at once, because the hunters are actually quite skilled. So that big one there, that's the tyrant vampire, so you can see the size difference there. And the vampires are very good in melee. I mean, as soon as they get close to you, oh, yeah. I was glad I got that shot. I forgot about that, actually. But yeah, just that scout there just got a headshot on the vampire, and his head just popped like a melon. Like, fuck you, bitch. And then it can become a bit chaotic. If you're more used to a kind of tactical shooter, you might not like this, because yeah, once the vampires start like closing in and shit hits the fan and everyone's just kind of raining abilities down left and right, so it can get a little confusing. It can also sometimes be a bit hard to tell friend from foe. I think they need to work on that. Yeah, there you go. That's an example of just a vampire player just charging it. But however, the tyrant, yeah, he does better. And oh crap! Yeah, I got tapped by a vampire, and I haven't got much health. I'm dead. And then yeah, you see them sort of ripping your throat out and drinking your blood. So it's like, yeah, I would actually like the hunters to have a kind of execution thing, like stake the fucker through the heart, cut his head off, something like that. Because I mean, the hunters are gonna make sure they're dead, right? I wouldn't want it to give me health or anything, but it should just be like, because the vampires get like a bonus 10 XP for doing an execution thing. The hunters should get bonus 10 XP for like executing the vampire. So as the hunter class, you'll see me throwing something like a bolus, which when I hit with it, it temporarily sort of binds the vampire, it reduces their movement, they can't jump, they can't use any powers for a few seconds. Very annoying when it gets used on you. But there are later versions of that bolus that do things like poison damage, so you can actually like drain their hits for a few seconds. I think there might be one that's fire damage, or it might be explosive, I can't remember. So you wrap it around them and then there's something that blows up. And there you go, so you're hitting there. And you have like the glowing chains around it. Not all the classes are unlocked from the start, come to think of it. You only start with the Reaver and the Tyrant, and on the Hunter side you get the Hunter and the Alchemist to start with. I think when you hit rank 5 on your account, not on a class, you get a class artifact, it's called. It's a little green box that allows you to unlock one class from either side. You don't get to unlock like one from the vampires, one from the hunt, just one. So yeah, you have to kind of pick and choose. If I do any more videos, if anyone's interested in seeing any more videos, let me know in the comments, and I'll do a couple showing off some of the other classes. I just today unlocked the Sentinel, which is the flying vampire class with it looks really sweet. As I said, that guy can sort of swoop down and he can pick up other players and then fly up in the air and you can drop them. And I imagine like well-coordinated team, you could pick up like a lone hunter and swing back to your team and just drop him right into the midst of the other 3 players, and he just gets screwed over. But he's very specialised. You know, there's this like an elite class kind of thing. You know, you have to sort of know what you're doing, or else you're just going to be a detriment to the team, like I pretty much was when I played the class in the first place. There seems to be a decent number of maps as well. I think, top of my head, I could count at least 6, and they all seem to fit a different kind of aesthetic. They all seem to be quite open. There's lots of little routes and paths to take. The combat tends to run in one or two ways. Either it bogs down into a corner where the defenders, well, I say where the human team sort of end up staying for most of the match, and then there's times where the vampires will kind of overrun and it'll respawn you and you kind of move around, and it's kind of a fluid pace. So you can see that the map has plenty of ways. There's no truly safe building for the human players. Every building can be scaled by the vampires, so there's usually a hole in the roof as well, so they can sort of drop explosives or poisons or whatever through, and while you're sort of choking on that shit, they can just drop in and attack you. The vampires have, there you go, so they have the advantage of the height, that they can sort of get the drop on you. So far, I mean, this could have been a horrendously unbalanced game, but they've actually done a pretty good job, I think. And for something that's just about to go into open beta, so it's probably due quite a few changes in a relatively short space of time. I think this is going to be a bit of a sleeper hit. I don't think it's... Yeah, I don't think this is going to like sell a lot of copies, but I don't think that's what they're aiming for. With how cheap they made the closed beta registration, I think this is going to be a free-to-play game anyway. Especially with all the microtransactions, I think some people are going to really get into this. I think this would be a good esports game. I think that's what they're going for with this. Top of my head, the options, you can do Twitch streaming. They've got that built in. There's a decent smattering of options in the graphics. I think you can set this up for controllers if you prefer a gamepad. Although don't quote me on that. Check the product page just to be sure, because I don't use I use a pad, so I never really remember to check those options. I should do. Yeah, usual sound options and all that stuff. So you tailor the experience to your liking. It's actually quite loud from the start. Another thing, if you do play, you may get a message pop up at the beginning that will say something like, "Oh, you need to link your account, link your Steam account," if you get it through Steam. And it doesn't really tell you why, and it's something to do with linking with Square Enix because they're the publisher. But you don't have to, just click cancel. I'm hoping in the future they actually allow you to just tell that to not pop up, because it's not necessary. I don't think you get any bonus for doing it, and to be honest, I know obviously some people have a lot of Steam games on their account and they don't really want to like be linking, you know, something like that to so many accounts. But with this wrapping up, yeah, looks like it's either the time's going to run out or humans are going to win this. So yeah, just to round out, I would recommend this if you like sort of tactical team-based affairs with you know, something a bit different as well, with the sort of asymmetric play with the melee versus ranged combat kind of style that they're going for. As I said, you don't have to be a fan of Legacy of Kain, but if you're like mad keen on it, I guess this is something you might want to play, just because it's pretty much the only Legacy of Kain thing that's been out and probably will be out for a long time, if another one ever does turn up. So yeah, I would recommend this if you're into your competitive team deathmatch multiplayer games. If not, then there's no single player, so don't expect that. There's no bot mode as far as I can tell, at least not yet. Whey, look at that! That was a nice point to finish it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good week, and this is Crystal Rocket signing off. Bad throat after all that. Ooh. Let's get Cal on. Goodbye.